Welcome to the Gloria Show, where personal growth takes center stage. Founder and CEO of Personal Dynamics, Gloria Sloan, shares practical strategies to enrich your life, elevate your mindset, and empower your journey. As she reminds us, ultra-successful people never stop learning, reaching, and growing. Get ready for fresh insights and uplifting inspiration. Here's your host, Gloria Sloan.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Gloria Show, where personal growth takes center stage. I'm Gloria Sloan, and I'm so pleased that you are joining me today. In our previous episode, we talked about what it means to future-proof your platform in a world where artificial intelligence, digital content, and changing audience expectations are reshaping the way speakers, authors, coaches, and entrepreneurs build visibility. That conversation focused on the importance of showing up consistently, creating meaningful content, building community, and developing a platform that allows your message to reach people beyond the stage. So today, we are taking that conversation one important step further, because having a powerful message is only part of the journey. You also need the systems, workflows, strategies, and support that will help you move that message from an idea into action. You know, many entrepreneurs have great ideas. They have books they write or want to write. They have programs they want to launch. They have audiences that they want to serve and businesses that they want to grow. But behind every successful platform is a structure that keeps the work moving. Without that structure, important tasks are missed. Content becomes inconsistent. Projects remain unfinished, and business owners find themselves spending more time managing details than fulfilling their purpose. That is why today's topic is so important. Our show is titled From Message to Momentum, Building the Systems Behind a Future-Proof Platform. We are going to discuss how the right business systems can help you protect your time, improve your productivity, simplify your workflow, and create a platform that is prepared for sustainable growth. We will also talk about how artificial intelligence can support your work, which responsibilities can be automated, what should remain personal, and why technology should strengthen human connection instead of replacing it. My guest today is someone who understands both the vision and the detailed work required to build a successful business. I am so happy to have Doreen back with us. Doreen DeJesus-Harper is the founder of Ambition, which she launched in 2004, following a distinguished 23 career driving innovation and results across the hospitality, real estate, accounting, and finance industries in corporate America. In 2008, she transitioned into full-time entrepreneurship and quickly became a trusted partner for authors, coaches, speakers, solopreneurs who are ready to accelerate their business. Amen to that. Doreen provides expertise in business coaching, operational support, and project management. She helps clients scale their businesses by designing and implementing standard operating procedures that streamline workflows, increase productivity, and bring greater consistency to daily operations. And her experience also includes team leadership, event and multimedia production, strategic marketing, and digital content management. As a certified professional author and speaker assistant, Doreen provides comprehensive support to authors and speakers. She also offers podcast management, production services, and helps clients understand their audiences and strengthen their influence. So, having said all that, what makes Doreen especially valuable in her collaboration and collaborative results? Focus-driven approach. She does not simply complete tasks. She develops true partnerships with her clients and becomes deeply vested in helping them. So today, that's why she is in a position to bring her expertise to this very sensitive subject. Growing your business. And she has been an important part of my team. So having her to bring this expertise and share it on the Gloria Show has been great partnership for both of us, helping bring ideas, projects, programs to life behind the scenes. She is the person, really the person behind the Gloria Show that helps us to bring and produce the quality of the programs regarding our topics to you. I know firsthand the value of having her. She is someone who sees the larger vision while also understanding the systems and details needed to move the vision forward. During today's conversation, Doreen will share practical guidance on creating repeatable business processes, organizing content, documenting workflows, choosing technology, using artificial intelligence. And she's been on the show to talk about that before, so she is quite knowledgeable about that and still gaining more knowledge. And she's very good at just turning unfinished ideas into completed projects. So whether you are a speaker, author, coach, entrepreneur, podcaster, or a thought leader, this conversation will help you better understand what it takes to build a platform that does not depend on you remembering and managing every single detail. And let me tell you, that is so helpful because it would be very challenging for me to have to do it. You do not have to do everything at once. You do not have to be on every platform, and we've talked about that before. You do not have to use every tool, but you do need to be clear, have a clear strategy and a structure that supports where you're going. I believe today's conversation will help you identify practical steps that you can take to move from message to momentum with greater clarity, confidence, and intention. So please join me in welcoming my guest, business strategist, operations expert, and founder of Ambition, Doreen DeJesus-Harper. Doreen, welcome to the Gloria Show. I am so excited to have you here today.
Thank you, Gloria. I'm always excited to be here and to impart some knowledge to your guests on the show. It's just always a pleasure to talk with you.
Well, thank you so much. I know I gave the audience a full resume as much as I could about you because you are very thorough, very, very good at what you do. And I wanted them to know and to understand that your expertise is very valuable in what we do on the Gloria Show. So let me ask you some questions. Now, I know we talk a lot in general all the time, but for this purpose, I just want to be able to share more with the audience. In our previous conversation, we talked about the importance of future proofing your platform. And from your perspective, I'd like for you to tell us what is the first thing a speaker, coach, author, or entrepreneur should do after deciding that they want to build a stronger platform.
Yeah, Gloria. So I loved Brian's show the other week. It was really great, and he imparted a lot of important information on the front end. But the first step is to get clear about the purpose of the platform that you're using. Right? Many people begin by asking which social media channel they should use, what kind of website they should have, how often they should post, and all of those things are very important, but they come later in the process. You first need to understand what the platform is designed to accomplish. So you should ask yourself, who am I trying to reach? What problem do I need to help them solve? What do I want people to know from me? What action should they take after engaging with my content? Your platform should support a specific business or personal development objective. It may be designed to attract speaking opportunities, sell books, generate coaching clients, build a membership community, or establish thought leadership. But when the purpose is clear, you can choose the right content, tools, and systems instead of copying what everyone else is doing, because what everybody else is doing may not be good for you.
Perfect. Very good answer. And I totally agree. Well, people hear the word systems all the time, but it can sound complicated or overly technical, and you and I've talked about that. So, what does a business system really mean?
A system is simply a repeatable way of completing something. It is the documented process or path that takes a task from beginning to completion. That's what a standard operating procedure is. It's you know what needs to be done in everything that you do. So, for example, your guest booking system might include identifying a potential guest, sending the invitation, collecting the biography, any photography, scheduling an interview, creating promotional content, recording the episode, and following up afterward. Everything that I currently do for you. That's our system for the Gloria Show, right? Without a system, every episode feels like you are starting over. And nobody wants to feel like they're having to begin a process just from the beginning. So the same thing applies to blogging, to social media, client onboarding, speaking engagement, lead generation, book promotion, and course creation. A good system answers 5 questions. What needs to happen? Who's responsible for making it happen? When should it happen? Which tools will be used? How will we know it is complete? And systems do not remove creativity. They protect it by reducing confusion and promoting important and preventing important steps from being missed.
Very well explained. And you're just giving away all of our good secrets, but that's okay. We want perfection here, so it's all good. So, what are some signs that someone's platform has grown beyond the systems they currently have in place? And I know you have been with me for several years, and we have produced and done more than, oh my goodness, I don't know how many episodes, but not even before that, having worked with me as being an author and a life coach and just an entrepreneur in general. You've seen my platform go from one system to another, but beyond the systems that they currently have in place, what are someone's platforms that can grow? How does that happen?
Yeah. So the clearest sign is that the person feels consistently busy, but cannot tell themselves what has actually been done, right? What's been completed. Other warning signs include missed deadlines, inconsistent content, duplicated work, lost information, unfinished projects, delayed follow-up, and confusion among team members. Like, we're the team members for us, but there are individuals out there who have teams that consist of 3 or 4 people. So you may also notice that everything depends on one person in the company, one person's memory. If that person becomes unavailable, the work stops, right? So another sign is that the business owner is spending most of their day completing administrative tasks instead of doing the work only they can do, such as speaking, coaching. I'm not, I can coach on business, but I can't coach on life skills, writing, building relationships, or developing new ideas. So growth exposes your weak systems that you currently have, right? What worked when you had 2 clients, 1 monthly show, and 1 social media account may not work when you have 10 clients, a weekly show, several platforms, and multiple offers. Your system has to grow with your vision.
Right. And you've seen that firsthand. You explained that very well. Someone would have to be in a position where they are what they're doing and looking to see how they can grow, to really be visionary, in my opinion, about it. So, as many entrepreneurs have plenty of ideas, I know I did and still do, but struggle to finish them. So why does that happen? And how can a workflow help? No matter how many business models and things that everybody tells you should do and not do, but a workflow. And we don't use that term, in my opinion, as much as we should in the business world.
Yeah.
How does it help?
Ideas are very exciting because they represent possibility. They represent execution, decisions, timelines, details, and follow through, right? So a person may say, I want to launch a podcast, but that idea contains many individual projects within it. They need a concept, a title, audience, format, recording process, graphics, guest outreach, distribution, promotion, and follow-up. Imagine having to do all of that by yourself. All those steps remain inside your head. The project feels much larger than it actually needs to be, right? So a workflow turns the idea into a visible sequence of actions, right? Instead of thinking, I need to create a course, you identify the next specific steps, such as approving the course outline, recording a lesson 1, creating the workbook, or uploading the first module. That makes the work manageable and it gets it out of your head. And this goes back to what I said earlier, that, what happens if one person is gone? What happens if one, it's in somebody's head instead of in a workflow? A workflow also helps you identify what can be delegated, automated, combined, or eliminated. It moves the project from intention to completion.
All the way through. And in my mind, and maybe in someone's mind that's listening, you know what a workflow should look like. And you know what you do, because being in business, you know what you do and you know how you do what you do. It's just a matter of the perspective of knowing where everything goes and when it goes. And like you say, where somebody else can find it in the event they need to. So that is basically a genuine workflow that's effective in an automated combined business. That's how I see it. Well, I'm going to ask you another question, Doreen, and then we are going to take a short break. But before we go to break, I want us to get into how can someone create consistent content without feeling they have to spend every day online. And you know how I feel about that, because when we're always searching, we're always looking, we're always researching, and we get all kinds of resources to do these things, but it's very time consuming. For me, it is. But how can someone create consistent content without feeling that they have to spend every day online? And I know you know what I'm talking about, because you hear me complaining all the time about one more thing I've got to figure out.
And actually, this is one of my favorite subjects with my clients. Actually, repurposing is key. You got to stop treating every post as a separate idea. You begin with one strong piece of core content. That might be a podcast episode, video, workshop, blog, an interview, a chapter, or a live presentation. Then you repurpose it strategically, right? One interview can become a blog post, several short videos, a newsletter, social media posts, quote graphics, a carousel, a downloadable checklist, a future workshop topic. Consistency becomes easier when content is part of a connected system. So a lot of our content is all based on life skills and personal development, and that is our core message, and we wrap our content around that message. So I recommend planning content around a few core themes that support your brand. That reduces the pressure to consistently invent something new. Batching can also help as well. You may record several videos on one day, write multiple captions together, or schedule content in advance. The goal is to always have content available, and be able to repurpose it in some type of way.
Right. To always have something that you can use, as you always say. Sometimes I feel like you have a whole library stacked away of just stuff because you are always surprising me with something. So, but that's a good thing. Well, listen, Doreen, let's take a quick break. And when we come back, I've got a few more questions that I want to ask you. And whereas much of what we're talking about, I'm hands on with you, but I really wanted to take this opportunity to share with our audience and the listeners the expertise basically that I have in what I do that I feel will be helpful to them, just giving them these tips and ways that they can build stronger platforms. So we're going to continue this conversation when we come back from a quick break.
Do you ever feel stuck? Like you are capable of more, but you are not quite sure how to move forward? Gloria Sloan's life coaching program is designed to help individuals break through limiting beliefs, build self-confidence, and gain clarity both in their personal and professional development. Through personalized coaching, Gloria works one-on-one with clients to create clear plans, strengthen mindsets, and reconnect them with their purpose. Gloria's life coaching program is virtual, flexible, and results-driven, with a supportive structure designed to keep you focused, accountable, and moving forward with confidence and momentum. Clients gain clarity, confidence, and the tools needed to unlock their full potential from the inside out. Gloria's belief that ultra-successful people are always learning and seeking new ways to find fulfillment and elevate personal development is what drives her fierce dedication to her clients. Are you ready for your next chapter to begin? All it takes is one powerful decision. Make that decision now and visit www.gloriasloan.com and book your consultation call today. Gloria's ready when you are. It's time to begin your journey.
Okay, we are back with Doreen, and we are really talking about building your platform and the things that we can do to make it more visible, more viable. And we are about to get into the conversation that is very exciting, and Doreen knows a lot about it. In the last episode with Brian Olds, we talked about artificial intelligence, AI. And Doreen has really been just educating herself and has become like really very, very, very efficient in and knowledgeable in AI and how it can help and how it can grow. And she's using it throughout various platforms with what she does. So I just want to know, Doreen, where does artificial intelligence fit into these systems, and where should people be careful? Now, before you answer the question, remember some episodes back you were on the show And you talked about AI just in general. This was just kind of let people know that you weren't afraid of it and you were ready to tackle everything about it. And since then, you have done that successfully. But where does artificial intelligence fit into the systems, and where should people be careful?
Yeah. So, people have a very mixed feeling about AI. Some are they don't want to embrace it, and some are embracing it fully. Artificial intelligence can help accelerate parts of a process, but it should not become the process itself. AI is very useful for brainstorming, organizing research, creating first drafts, summarizing transcripts, online, outlining content, developing task lists, documenting procedures, and repurposing existing material. For example, after a show is recorded, AI can help identify the major themes in the show, produce a first draft of a blog, and suggest social media content or organize follow-up tasks, right?
Right.
That can save a tremendous amount of time for anyone, especially someone who is working all by themselves. However, everything should still be reviewed by a person. AI does not automatically understand your brand, your audience, your values, or the full context of your business. Although you can train AI, you still want to be reviewing everything that you get out of AI. It can also produce inaccurate information or content that sounds generic, and you don't want that to happen either. I believe AI should support human judgment and not replace it. And I'm a huge fan of AI. Use it to increase your capacity, but keep your voice, experience, relationships, and standards at the center of the work that you're doing in AI.
Yeah, you expressed that early on when you came on the show and you talked about all the many things about AI and why we should not fear it. It's not necessarily replacing anything. It's just helping us to be able to be more effective in our mission and what we're doing, and learning how to use it, I think, is critical. You may not be a person who has to use it all the time, but for me, just learning the components and the background of it has helped me to be able to see what you do. So I had to self-educate myself so that I could see what you were presenting and bringing to the table. So it's like, okay, Doreen, where did you come up with this? And so when you tell me you ran it through a system, I know what that means now. Well, listen, Doreen, how can a speaker, let's just talk about speakers or entrepreneurs and everything that we all do. How can these tasks be automated, and which ones should remain personal?
Yeah. So I use a simple rule: automate repetition, not relationships, right? Tasks that happen frequently and follow a very predictable pattern are often good candidates for automation. That might include appointment reminders, confirmation emails, intake forms, content scheduling, file organization, and routine follow-up messages, or moving information between systems. Activities that require empathy, judgment, trust, creativity, or a personal connection should remain. So you may automate the email that confirms a coaching appointment.
Mm-hmm.
Coaching conversation should be personal, right?
Mm-hmm.
You may automate the process that collects information from a show guest, but the relationship with that guest should not feel automated. Technology really should make the experience smoother, and it should not make people feel invisible.
Invisible. That's technology. Well, many business owners use several tools, all kinds of tools, and we know that they don't have to use all of them, but the tools do not always work together. And so how should someone decide which technology they need when you're looking at the tools?
This is a great question because I'm one of those individuals who, when something new comes out, that shiny, what do they call it? The shiny new syndrome. I will test it just to see if it's going to work in my business or not. That doesn't always work out great for me, but I test it to see if it will. But you should start with your workflow, not the software, right? People often purchase a new tool because someone recommends it, but they have not identified the problem the tool is supposed to solve for them. It may solve the problem for someone else, but it may not solve your problem in your business. So before adding technology, ask, what specific problem are you trying to solve? What information needs to move through the process? And who needs access to it? What are we already using? Do we have something in our arsenal of tools that will do the same thing, right? And can an existing tool handle this need? The best technology stack, and we talked about stacking as well some time back, is not necessarily the one with the most tools. It is the one that supports the work with the least unnecessary friction in the workflow, right?
Right.
So for small businesses, a strong system may include a project management platform, a calendar, email marketing system, a CRM, a customer relationship manager, a file storage solution, and maybe one or two selected AI tools that fit their brand. So the tools should work together as much as possible. And otherwise, the business owner ends up doing the connecting manually, which creates so much more work instead of less work. And the purpose between automation is to have and I'll use my client, have my client do what they do best. You know, whether it's coaching, you know, that's where they make their money. That's their bread and butter. So the automation should fit what the client or the person needs to have happen.
Okay. Still sounds technical, but it's part of it. It does. I can't get away from using that. It is very technical, but you know, the good thing about it is that when you have someone that you can work with that teaches you as well, because I learn as we go along, and it's a business partnership that anyone who works with Doreen, or you may have your own manager, whomever you have to support your business. I think it's the partnership that you establish and that you develop, so that you know if you have a CRM system that's workable and all the other tools that are necessary for running and managing and operating your business. And I have been in business for a very long time. And when you look at 30 plus years of operating and running a business successfully, trust me, I've had to learn and see a lot of things and do a lot of things over that span of time. And when you do see technology changing things, I've learned, in order to keep up and to keep it moving and to keep going, to embrace it, not be fearful of it, because it has helped in many different ways. And definitely it has helped me sustain my business in terms of being an author, a life coach, a speaker, and, you know, all the other things that I have incorporated. So, Doreen, I really do appreciate you continuing to introduce those tools and things that we use effectively as we collaborate and work with what I do. Listen, one other question. What role does documentation play in building a sustainable platform?
Documents turn personal knowledge into business knowledge, right? Again, taking what's in your head as a business owner. So at the beginning, you said I strategically work with my clients, right? And that's because I learn their business inside and out. And in order to do that, I sit and I ask all the questions and everything necessary with my clients to know their business inside and out. I can't be effective for my clients if I don't know their business. So when a process only exists in somebody's head, it is difficult to delegate, improve it, or repeat what needs to be repeated consistently. So a standard operating procedure does not have to be a complicated manual. The processes don't have to be complicated at all. It could be a checklist that, or a screen recording, you know, written guidelines, a template, something, a short set of instructions. And that's as technical as you have to get to lay out what the process is. Good documentation should always explain the purpose of the process, when it begins, the steps involved, the tools or templates needed, who owns each step, what completion looks like. And then documentation also helps you identify the gaps, right? And I know that when we were talking about this episode, it seems a little bit technical, but when you write down a process, you may discover unnecessary steps, unclear responsibilities, or opportunities to really automate, right? It supports the training and quality control, delegation, and growth for your business. And most importantly, it helps the business operate without requiring the owner to personally supervise every detail. Because if you had to supervise every detail that I did and do your job too, imagine, what your day would look like. And that's not why people go into business, right? They go into business because they're doing something that they actually love to do. That is their passion. That is their purpose. Their purpose is not the back end.
I got you. And, having been, a trainer and someone who's had to actually train people in the workforce development, I do understand that, documenting and writing things down. And, as a writer, even I have found that journaling, even business, is good. Even journaling through business, when you have something on your mind you need to talk about, whether it's documentation or whatever, writing it down does make a big difference. And it can play a big part when you do want to train and make sure you are training the person to do the job effectively that you want them to do. That's very important for a business owner to recognize how much training, because it ultimately it's a space where you can let go and delegate, as you talk about, and you're not comfortable as a business person delegating and letting anything go, in my opinion, until you are okay with the fact that this person has been trained properly and is doing the job according to the requirements and the competencies that you are looking for. Mm-hmm. Well, Doreen, one final question. For the person listening who feels overwhelmed, and as a business owner, I can't imagine that someone who's listening to all of this is not like, if they haven't been overwhelmed, they may be overwhelmed by the end of the show. But everything we have discussed, what is one action that they can take this week to begin building a future-proof platform? And don't you tell them to call you.
So I want to take one step backwards. And so, you're always talking about personal development, right? Personal development is what this show is based on. And this is an action step in your personal development as an entrepreneur, as a speaker, as an author, right? You look at what you have to develop your skills, but if you want your business to rise, you've got to also look at what your business needs, okay? So to answer your question, I would choose one process that causes repeated frustration in your business and document it from beginning to end. Mm-hmm. All right. Do not try to fix your entire business at once, because then you will feel overwhelmed. But look at one core piece of your business that needs to be documented from beginning to end. You might choose how you create a weekly blog, or how you onboard a new client. Prepare for a speaking engagement, or book a show guest, or follow up with a new lead. Whatever that process is, choose one and write down every step that there is, okay? And then ask which steps are necessary, which can be removed, which can you delegate, which can be automated, and which requires your personal attention. And once you improve one process, you will have created time, clarity, and confidence to improve the next one. So start one at a time. So, future-proofing your platform is not one massive project. It's really a series of intentional improvements that help your message, help your business, and impact growth without losing the human connection that made people trust you in the first place.
Right. Okay. Well, we've heard it. We've heard it all from Doreen. So as we wrap up, again, the session for today, I hope that you will, take to heart what we're offering you today and what we're saying, that this is a part of your own personal and professional development. So today's conversation reminds us that a meaningful message needs more than visibility. It needs structure, consistency, and a system that can carry it forward. You do not have to build everything at once. You do not need to use every tool available, but you began with clarity. Strengthen one process. Use technology thoroughly and protect the relationships at the heart of your work. That is critical and very important. But equally important, and most importantly, is do not allow disorganization or overwhelm to keep your ideas from reaching the people who need them. Because we can become disorganized and overwhelmed so easily with all the ideas that we have. But when that happens, it halters your reaching the people who need to hear what it is that you have to say or what you have to offer. So on that note, as I always say, ultra successful people never stop learning. Continue learning, continue adapting, and continue building the systems that will support the future you are creating. Thank you, Doreen, for sharing your knowledge and your practical guidance with us today. So, to my audience and to all of you listening, until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep moving forward towards your best self. Until next time, goodbye for now. Thanks, Doreen.
You've been listening to The Gloria Show. Be sure to check out www.gloriasloan.com for more tools, strategies, and inspiration. And don't forget to connect with Gloria on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. Until next time, stay inspired, stay motivated, and keep moving toward your best self.